Hey friends, Paloma here and welcome to the Bates House. I have a new library wall and I thought it would be fun to do a book haul. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I went on a book buying break about 3 years ago, and I have literally not bought novel books or reading books or anything like that on the regular ever since. I will buy home decor books, antique books, stuff like that, but I do not buy novel books because I wanted a library built. And until I had that, I knew I needed to calm down with the book buying because I used to buy a lot back in the day, and then I purged them and I only have kind of what you see behind me. But now that I have my new little shelf that the hubby built for me behind this wall, and then I have this one here, I am going to be loading up on books. But if you don't know me, hi. In another life, I was an extreme couponer, so I learned a lot about purchase prices and my max purchase price and making my minimum my max and all these other things, right? So I learned how to spend money or not spend money and be able to get multiples for the price of one. It became a big priority in my brain, and it's pretty much a thing that I live by when it comes to my entire spending life choices. So that being said, this haul cost me $21. And I got 30 books for $21, making each book an average of 70 cents a piece. I'm gonna go over the different places that I bought them, the actual prices that they were in that location, and then tell you how I choose the books that I choose. Let's get started because there's a lot of books. It's probably gonna take a little time, and I do wanna read a few of the snippets. I have been purchasing books also from Dollar Tree, and I have been putting out polls on my Instagram to let me know what book to read next. And for every 5 books that I read, I will do a video review. I am on book 3 of 5 right now, so follow me on Instagram if you want to participate in those polls in case you want to know if Dollar Tree books are worth it. But whenever we get to those, you'll actually see that yes, they are. We are going to start off with a little church shop that me and my friend Abby go thrift at. I went the other day, and they were having a sale on the books, and then they were having a sale on stuff. So I was able to get 2 vintage crazed blue stripe pottery mugs. OMG, fantastical, magical. Those are going to be a personal item, and they're going to go into my collection of blue stripes pottery. But I was also able to get 5 hardcover books and the 2 mugs for $5. Amazing. I got this Charlene Harris Dead in the Family book, and it is a Sookie Stackhouse novel from True Blood. I want to make a new cover of this because the cover is kind of ratty. The paper cover is ratty. It's got this messed up part here. I hate this stupid sticker, and the image is not giving. So I wish I could make a white leather cover with a green font and trim and stuff, because her t-shirt from the restaurant was white with the little green logo. I would love to make it look like that logo and put it on this book. Maybe one day that'll be a crafty thing we do. Let me know how you feel about that. It says, even with the blood of 2 vampires in her system, Sookie is having trouble healing from the terrible torture she endured at the hands of her great-grandfather's enemies during the brief but deadly Fey War. Worse are the emotional wounds, especially over the loss of her own personal fairy godmother and the near death of her love. Sookie is hurt and she's mad. Just about the only bright spot in her life, because the fact that she is, after all, still alive, is the love she thinks she feels for vampire Eric Northman, who is under scrutiny by the new vampire king because of their relationship. As the political implications of the shifters coming out are beginning to be felt, Sookie's connection to the particular where draws her into the dangerous debate. And unknown to her, though the doors to fairy have been closed, there are still some fae on the human side, and one of them is angry at Sookie. Very, very angry. This book was originally $26, and I got it for an average cost of 70 cents because, again, we paid $21 for 30 books, making the average cost per book 70 cents. And just so you know, this does not have an audiobook on Libby. So I think I am in the immersive reading category, if I'm not mistaken, where you like to read along with the audiobook or read alone in your brain. So for me, whenever I know I'm going to bed or whatever, I can just read regular, put on some nice music in the background and just read a regular book by myself. But when I'm up and about and the story is so good, I don't want to let it go or put it down, I will do things in life with an audiobook. So I'll do both. I grab the book and I read the book, and then whenever it's like amazing and I don't want to put it down, I will listen to parts of the book as I go from point A to point B in my car, while I'm doing laundry, while I'm doing different stuff, and I don't want to put it down. And then I'll just go back to reading the book, or I'll even pick up the book and read along with the characters in my brain. Because one thing, I can't just do audiobooks full time because I get so distracted and off in thought, and then I won't know what's happening. So I do have to either jump between the two or do them both at the same time, or read it physically myself, because I will forget everything. So I picked up that. Next, I got Talon by Holly Lyle. Look at this gorgeousness. It is a nice thickum book. It retailed for $28, and I paid an average cost of 70 cents for it. And this one says, one of thousands trained from childhood to protect her country from the monarchist Estill, who would take away the personal freedoms of the Tonk. Talon has embraced her fate long ago to die in battle. This is a war of magic, not swords, and the battles are fought deep inside the View, a place where the magic inherent in everything and everyone is actualized. The soldiers on both sides can bring this magic to the physical plane and use it to destroy houses, fields, and people. But the Figash, whatever, come from across the globe and demanded that they be allowed to negotiate peace between the Estill and the Tonk for the sake of the rest of the world. Talon was out of a job and at a loss for what to do with her life. Rather than follow most of her fellow soldiers to jobs in other parts of the world, Talon stayed with her family in her town, and there she is seduced by a Figish diplomat. With him, she experiences a dark side of herself that she hadn't even imagined and learns a new kind of magery. And she discovers the mistreatment of the Estill prisoners of war still in Tonk hands and weighs her life against saving theirs. It's a matter of honor, and her honor will be challenged again and again as she slowly discovers that what the Figish have brought with them was not peace, but an overwhelming oppression and evil so insidious that no one noticed it until it was too late. And then it continues on the back flap with more stuff. That's kind of hard to read because it's like black with white, but the little lines are very hard to read. All right, so I did pick that one up. That one looks awesome. Next, we have Invisibility. Talon did not have an audiobook either, but Invisibility does, and you can download the Libby app and register your local library card and see if your library has an audio version, and then if it does, you can do both, read and listen to the audiobook, and you don't have to pay for it, which is fantastical, magical, and great. So whenever I do purchase like a lot of books, I do try to aim for some that have audiobooks. If they do not, then it has to be something that gets my attention on its own. If I read like the snippet of it or whatever, it has to get my attention. If it doesn't, I'm not even going to try to buy it. Anyway, this one actually sounded pretty cool. It was about a guy that was born invisible, okay, and has to live through his life invisible. I know it sounds crazy, but it is what it is, right? All right, so this one is Invisibility by David Leviathan, author of Every Day. It says Stephen is used to invisibility. He was born that way, invisible and cursed. Elizabeth sometimes wishes for invisibility. When you're invisible, no one can hurt you. So when her mother decides to move a family to New York City, Elizabeth is thrilled. It's easy to blend in there. Then Stephen and Elizabeth meet. To Stephen's amazement, she can see him. And to Elizabeth's amazement, she wants him to be able to see her, all of her. But as the two become closer, an invisible world gets in their way, a world of grudges and misfortunes, spells and curses. And once they're thrust into this world, Elizabeth and Stephen must decide how deep they are willing to go, because the answer could mean the difference between love and death. That sounds pretty cool. But I picked that one up. Very nice. Next, we have Taken by Midnight. This one also has an audiobook. It is by Laura Adrian. And it says, in the frozen Alaskan wilderness, former state trooper Jenna Darrow survives in an unspeakable breach of body and soul. But with her narrow escape comes an even greater challenge, for the strange changes are taking place within her as she struggles to understand and control a new hunger. To do so, she will seek shelter in the Boston compound of the Order and an ancient race of vampire warriors whose very existence is shrouded in mystery. Perhaps the most mysterious of them all is Brock, a brooding, dark-eyed alpha male whose hands hold the power to comfort, heal, and arouse. Taken by Midnight. Got that one for 70 cents, guys. Come on now. Next, we have this one. I'm assuming that's like Housebra or something, but it's by Jill Alexander. It says, Anna Benz, an American in her 30s, lives with her Swiss husband, Bruno, a banker, and their 3 young children in a postcard-perfect suburb of Zurich. Though she leads a comfortable, well-appointed life, Anna is falling apart inside, adrift and increasingly unable to connect with the emotionally unavailable Bruno or even with her own thoughts and feelings. Anna tries to rouse herself in the new experiences, German languages, something analysis, and the series of sexual affairs she enters with an ease that surprises even her. Yada, yada, yada. Got that one. Also, average 70 cents. And this one had a tag and stuff on it, but it's not. It says signed. Is it signed? It is signed. Wow. So it has an author signature. The tag back here says signed. How cool is that? Nice. So that's a nice little plus. Next, we're going to move on to the Dollar Tree, y'all. I love Dollar Tree for books. I have always loved Dollar Tree for books. Now, let's jump right in. So in Dollar Tree, I paid $10 and each book is $1.25. Again, I look for several things to make sure that I'm actually going to be getting my money's worth because I'm cheap. We have several books here and only one of them does not have an audiobook. But like I said, I want to make sure that it's something that's intriguing and catches my attention, and then I will be okay with no audiobook. I'll just read it myself. But we have 10 books here. Unfortunately, I only have one hardcover. I would prefer hardcovers, but these are actually really nice and clean and new books, so I was excited to find them. All right, so the first one is Saint Evo. It is a novel by Joanna Hershen. This one retailed for $26. It says, it's the end of summer, and it's the middle of Sarah's life, the middle of her career. She hopes not the end, the middle of her marriage, recently tenuous but repaired. And despite the years that have passed since she saw Leda, it feels very much like the middle of that loss. What really happened to her beautiful spirited daughter? What place did Sarah have in Leda's life in her disappearances? And will her absence ever not be the center of Sarah's life? That's just a part of it. That was just his first little paragraph. But I'm excited for that one. It's a very short read. And it has this gorgeous like plum color cover. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Next is The 9 Lives of Rose Napolitano. Says a novel retailed for $17. We paid $1.25. It is a paperback book. So I did listen to, what did I listen to? I think it was just like the first chapter. It was just the first few minutes or something of this. And it says, Rose Napolitano has always known that she didn't want to become a mother, and her husband, Luke, had promised that he'd never want children either. But now he has changed his mind. Their marriage has come down to this question: can Rose change hers as well? But then Rose has the same fight with Luke again. This time, the fight goes differently, and so does Rose's life, and she reimagines herself in a completely new way, and so it goes. Through 9 versions of Rose's future, The 9 Lives of Rose Napolitano shows us, as Rose chooses and chooses again, what it means to reinvent life. It's a what-if novel. Very cool storyline, because I am a mother of 5, and there's always been that what if. What if? Got that one for $1.25. How cool. Next we have The Party Upstairs. This does have an audiobook on Libby. It says, Ruby has a strange relationship to privilege, having grown up the super's daughter in the basement of an Upper West Side co-op. Though not economically privileged herself, her close childhood friendship with Caroline, the daughter of an affluent tenant living in such a wealthy neighborhood, brought her certain advantages, even expectations. Naturally, Ruby followed her dreams and took out loans to explore her interest in art, but now she's been forced by circumstances to move back with her parents back into the basement, and Caroline is throwing one of her parties tonight in her father's glorious penthouse apartment, a party Ruby looks forward to and dreads in equal measure. Told from the alternating points of view, Ruby and her father, the party upstairs builds from the spark of an early morning argument between them to the ultimate conflagration to which it leads by day's end. By the time the ashes have cooled, the facade that masks the building's power structure will have burned away and no party will be left unscathed. So this book retailed for $17 and we got it for $1.25. Next, we have the One Night Promised. So this one is not an audio book that is free on Libby. I'm pretty sure I can find another way to get it on Amazon or something like that, but I am not going to pay for an audiobook if I have the actual book in my hand. In that case, I will just read it. So this one grabbed my attention. It says, this is Jody Elin Malpas, One Night Will Never Be Enough. One Night Promised. Livy notices him the moment he walks into the coffee shop. His heart stopped. Oh, so that's why I got this one, because I was like, not only does it sound good, but it reminds me of me and the hubby. Okay, so Livy notices him the moment he walks into the coffee shop. Check, that was the hubby. He's heart-stoppingly stunning. Check, the hubby. With blue-eyed gaze. Check, the honey. It says, so piercing, she's almost too distracted to take his order. And I was the hubby's server. When he walks out the door, she thinks she'll never see him again. Literally had that conversation. Then she finds the note he left on his napkin, signed M, except mine was a B or R. Okay, all he wants is one night to worship her. No feelings, no commitment, nothing but pleasure. That was role reversal. That's all I wanted. Every defense mechanism Livy has adopted during her solitary life is at risk of being obliterated by this confounding man. He's obnoxious but well-mannered. He's a gentleman but aloof. He's passionate but emotionless. Livy can't deny him or herself. Em awakens something in Livy, something deep and addictive that she never knew existed and that she fears only he can satisfy, which is probably true, because like the hubby has raised my bar so high it's not even funny. Like if anybody were to approach me and be like, sorry bruh, you ain't it. But she senses that behind the fast cars, fancy suits, and posh apartment, he's aching inside. To have him, body and soul, she'll have to brave the dark secrets. Delving into his world and breaking down his defenses become her obsession, the obsession that could shatter her heart beyond repair. So I am so excited to read this because that just reminds me of the hubby all day. And it is a series. It says, This Man, Beneath This Man, and This Beneath This Man. And This Man is Confused is a series that she has as well. So I was excited about that. I don't see a price. They have a big sticker on the back here, so I can't see what it was originally. But no audiobook, but it doesn't need it. I can say that much. We have the finalist, which was this one here. I started listening to the first page of this one as well while I was in the store. So what I do is I grab all the books that I think look interesting. I'll skim over the little excerpt or whatever, and then I'll put them in the cart. Then I'll search each title to see if they have an audiobook. If they do, while I'm deciding or still looking through other things or shopping or whatever, I'll listen to like the first 5 minutes of each book. And then if it's entertaining enough, I'll buy it. And if it's not, I will leave it. I will not force myself to buy something that I can't even listen to. All right, so this one does have an audiobook. This one says, on a beautiful spring day, 6 college students with nothing in common besides a desperate inability to pay for school gathered to compete for the prestigious Hyde Scholarship. Milo, the front runner, Natalia, the brain, James, the rule follower, Sydney, the athlete, Duffy, the cowboy, Emily, the social justice warrior. The 6 of them must surrender their devices when they enter Hyde House, an aging structure that sits on a secluded part of campus. Once inside, the doors are locked behind them. The students are not allowed to leave until they spend 8 hours with a college administrator who will do almost anything to keep the school afloat, and Nicholas Hyde, the privileged and notoriously irresponsible heir to the Hyde family fortune. If the students leave before the time is up, they'll be immediately disqualified. But when one of 6 of the finalists drops dead, the other students fear they're being picked off one by one. With the violent protests raging outside and no other way to escape, the survivors viciously turn on one another. The finalist is a chilling and profound look at the lengths to which both students and colleagues will go to survive in a resource-starved academic world. So that's pretty cool. This book was $17 originally, and I got it for $1.25, and it is the finalist by David Bell. Next, we have The Most Likely Club. Is that right? Yeah, The Most Likely Club looks like this. It retailed for $17 as well, and it is by Elisa Friedland. In 1997, grunge is king, Titanic is a blockbuster, and blockbusters still exist. Guys, I was putting the movies, I've had my DVDs upstairs in the attic bedroom for some time now, but I want to eventually clear all that out so that can be turned into the hubby's like man cave. And I brought them all downstairs and I was looking in them, and guys, I found receipts from 2007. Oh my gosh, crazy. Anyway, and Thursday nights are for friends. In Bellport, Connecticut, 4 best friends and high school seniors are ready to light the world on fire. Melissa, Priya, Tara, and Suki are going places. Their yearbook superlatives confirm it. Most likely to win the White House, cure cancer, open a Michelin-starred restaurant, and join Forbes 400. Fast forward 25 years and nothing has gone according to plan as the women regroup at their dreaded high school reunion. When a forgotten classmate emerges out of the reunion with a surprising announcement, the friends dig out a yearbook and rethink their younger selves. Is it too late to make their dreams come true? No. Fueled by nostalgia and one too many drinks. I like that. Fueled by nostalgia and one too many drinks. That sounds familiar. They form a pact to push through their middle-aged angst to bring teenager aspirations to fruition, dubbing themselves the Most Likely Girls. Through the ensuing highs and lows, they are reminded of the enduring bonds and friendships in ways our childhood dreams both sustain and surprise us, and why it's deeply uncool to peak in high school. So that's pretty cool. Got that one. And the last one for Dollar Tree is The Darkest Corners. We are taking a while in this one. This one also has an audiobook, and it is by Kaza Thomas, author of Cheerleaders. Price was $12.99. All right, so this one says there are secrets around every corner in Fayette, Pennsylvania. Tessa left when she was 9 and has been trying ever since not to think about what happened there last summer. She and her childhood best friend, Callie, never talked about what they saw, not before the trial and certainly not after. But Tessa still has questions. Things have never quite added up, and now she has to go back to Fayette to Wyatt Stokes sitting on death row, Lori Colley, Callie's dead cousin, say that 5 times fast, and to the one other person who may be hiding the truth. Only the closer Tessa gets to what really happened, the closer she gets to a killer. And this time it won't be so easy to run away. Pretty cool. So I got that one. And that was it for Dollar Tree. Now we are going to move into Thrifted books. There is an audiobook for that one if I didn't mention it. The first 2 were $2.99, and then the second 2 were 25 cents. So the first one that I got was from Goodwill. There is no audiobook for this one. It is Broken Throne, a Red Queen collection by Victoria Aveyard. And I just thought this looked really awesome. This is the excerpt right here for this book. It says, an unseated king searches for meaning in a world altered by war. Enemy brothers clash one final time. A doomed queen pens words of hope to her future son. A silver princess trusts a red captain with her life in the chaos of an unknown land. A young Scarlet Guard captain finds a glimmer of hope that will lead to a rebellion, and a hero whose spark started a revolution discovers where she belongs in peace. So yeah, I thought that was it's a really nice quality book, super good condition, looks brand new. So I was like, $3, I'll give it a shot. No audiobook on that one. We have Innocent. This one does have an audiobook. It is by Scott Turow. I really like this cover. It's black with these gold fingerprints and this red word up here. This one retailed for $28. It says, more than 20 years after Rusty and Tommy went head to head in the shattering murder trial of presumed innocent, the men are pitted against each other once again in a riveting psychological match when Sabich, now over 60 years old and the chief judge of an appellate court, finds his wife Barbara dead under mysterious circumstances. Malto accuses him of murder for the second time, setting into motion the trial that is vintage Turo, the courtroom, and its most taut and explosive. With his characteristic insight into both the dark truths and the human psyche and the dense intricacies of the criminal justice system, Scott Turow proves once again that some books simply compel us to read late into the night, desperate to know who did it. I thought that was so cool. So I did pick that one up. This one had a cover protector, which was pretty awesome because the cover is in fantastic condition. And I did take it off because I didn't want it on my shelf looking like that. So I did get that one. Both of those were $2.99. I went to Katie Christian Ministries and they had some books on sale for 25 cents, which I also went today and they had them on 25 cents again, but I have like another 30 books. And so that'll have to be another haul for another day. First one is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. It says 60 years after its original publication, Ray Bradbury's international acclaimed blah, 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 blah. Guy is a fireman. His job is to destroy the most illegal of commodities, the printed book, along with the houses in which they are hidden. Montag never questions the destruction and the ruin his actions produce, returning each day to his bland life and wife, oh, dang, Mildred, who spends all day with her television family. Golly. But when he meets an eccentric young neighbor, Clarice, who introduces him to a past where people didn't live in fear and present where one sees the world through the ideas in books instead of a mindless chatter of a television, Montag begins to question everything he has ever known. And this one retailed for $17 as well, and it looks really good. I was excited about that, so I got that one for 25 cents. And so it's the same concept. Even in a thrift store, I will look for the audiobook to see if there is one available, and same. And then I got this one, Half Bad. Pretty cool thing actually about this book is I went back to Katie Christian Ministries today and found this version of Half Bad. So this one is the book, and then this one says not for review purposes, advanced uncorrected bound manuscript, not Americanized. What does that even mean? So that's pretty cool. I was like, I already have the book, but I feel like this is a new unique kind of situation to have as well. And for $0.25, I could not pass it up. So that will be in the haul next week or next time. But this is Half Bad by Sally Green. He has a powerful gift. It's how he uses it that will show if he's good or bad. And this one retailed for $10. It says, Nathan is an abomination, a half code, a threat, kept alive as a weapon to destroy the most fearsome witch of all time, his father, the only one with the power to save Nathan's life. I'm excited for that. And that one does have an audiobook, I believe. Yes. For $0.25? Yes, please. Okay, so next we're going to be looking at free books. Guys, you have to find a place where they do book exchanges or something, right? Because any book that I read and I'm not going to like, I'm going to drop it off at my local post office. Because in our post office, or maybe suggest in your local post office if they could have a book exchange, just a little, little something bookshelf, donate the bookshelf, something, and exchange books there. And it's a fantastic way to give to other people. And there's so many. They have kids' books there. I when I purchased my books, I took like 150 books to the post office. So I know people got some really great books. There was kids' books in there. There was all kinds of cool stuff in there. Anyway, these are all free, and I'm excited about it. So let's start off with King of Wrath. There is no audiobook on this one, but it looked fantastic. So I did pick it up and I will be reading it. And also, if you don't know, on, what is it? It's not Hoopla. What is it? I'll try to remember to remind myself, hey me, put the name on here or a screenshot of the app or something. You can take pictures or downloads of the book and get your device to read it back to you, which is pretty cool. So this is King of Wrath by Anna Huang, and it says, ruthless, meticulous, arrogant. Billionaire CEO Dante Russo thrives on control, both personally and professionally. He never planned to marry until blackmail forces him into an engagement with a woman he barely knows. Vivian, heiress and daughter of his newest enemy, the wife he never wanted, and the weakness he never saw coming. It doesn't matter how beautiful, charming she is. So this is an enemies to lovers kind of situation, of course. Dante will do everything in his power to destroy the blackmail. There's only one problem. Now that he has her, he can't bring himself to let her go. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So this one was $18, and it's a freebie. Doesn't have an audiobook, but it's fine. The next one that I got is this one. It is Bella Tuscany, no audiobook either, but it is an easy read, nice small little book. and it's by Frances Mays. Now this one wasn't much of a price difference. This one, wherever it was clearanced out for $1.50, but it was regular $15 retail. The reason I liked it was because it was a companion volume to Under the Tuscan Sun, which I actually really enjoy. Now truly a home there, Mays writes her deepening connection to the land and flourishing friendships with local people and the joys of art, food, and wine, and the reward, the occasional heartbreaks of her villa's ongoing restoration. It's also a memoir of a season of change and of renewed possibility. As the spring becomes her, she revives her lush gardens, meets challenges of learning a new language, tours regions from Sicily to Veneto, and faces transitions in her family life. Filled with recipes from her Tuscan kitchen and written in sensuous and evocative prose that has become her hallmark, Bella Tuscany is a celebration of the sweet life in Italy. I'm actually very excited about this. I feel like this was a good time, like a good springtime read. So I did pick that one up as well. The next one is Word of Honor. This one does have an audiobook. And this is what I was talking about, it having a cover. I left this one on so I could show you in case you didn't know, but I am going to be taking it off. Actually, I'm going to read it first and then I will take the cover off if it's going to stay here on my shelf. But this one is Word of Honor by Nelson DeMille. Like millions of other Americans living comfortable and secure lives, corporate executive Ben Tyson thought he had put the horror of the war behind him. But now, 16 years later, his carefully ordered world begins to fall apart. Someone has broken his word of honor. Someone has talked to Andrew Picard, a Vietnam veteran and journalist whose newest book shocks the nation with its allegations of civilian massacre by soldiers under Lieutenant Ben Tyson's command. The book quickly becomes a bestseller, and the Army realizes it cannot afford to ignore the charges. Tyson is called back to active duty to face a court martial. Is Ben Tyson guilty of murder, or is he a convenient scapegoat? Is he honor bound to the vow he took with his men, or must he explain what really happened that fateful day? And when will the war finally be over for men who fought it? Sounds really good. I love stuff like that. I love wartime movies. I love great stories. I am excited for this one. So super happy that that one has an audiobook, because I'm pretty sure I won't be able to put it down. All right, the next one is Picture Me Dead. This one does not have an audiobook on Libby. It's by Heather Graham. It says, Ashley Montague is nearing the end of her police training, but nothing has prepared. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, the name Montague actually got my attention because I love Romeo and Juliet. You know, like, what's in a name? Okay, so anyway, but nothing has prepared this rookie for the rite of passage that will take her on a deadly ride into the underbelly of Miami's drug world. It begins with the shocking discovery of a body on the highway and her glimpse of a mysterious hooded figure watching from the side of the road. At another crime scene in the heart of the Everglades, Detective Jake stares at the body of a mutilated woman, the victim identical to the victims of the cult leader he had put behind bars 5 years ago. Is this a copycat killing, or have the deepest fears been realized? Is the wrong man behind bars and the real killer on the hunt? Yada yada. Sounds like a good story. I like a good crime, murder mystery kind of situation. So excited about that one. And then we have a 3-book series, or 3-book by Dean Koontz, and there are no audiobooks for any of these. And it is The Bad Place, Demon Seed, and The Eyes of Darkness. All sound creepy, and I'm here for it. So I did pick that one up. Very pretty cover. I'm not gonna read a summary of all of that. So yeah, free. Next, we have The Dating Dare. I already read this one. This is by J.C. Lee. I'm going to review this one in here because this is not a Dollar Tree book, so I'm not putting it in the Dollar Tree book review that I'm doing on Instagram. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. If you don't know, I have an Instagram, and it is at the Bates House, pretty much anything. And I put my Dollar Tree next reads on a poll and let you vote for the book that I'm going to read next. For every 5 books that I read from Dollar Tree, I'm going to do an actual video review. I am on book 3 of 5 right now, and I am almost done. So I will be putting up another book selection, or another 2 books to let you vote it out. Now, I have been trying to get people to vote for Crow Bones, but it just hasn't won. So I'm going to have to put another selection or something. But anyway, I did read this one in between while waiting for that poll to be complete, and it wasn't horrible. I give this about 2 3/4 stars because I feel like the dynamic was, there was too much, there wasn't a balance. So everything that she said was like quirky and snappy and attitudey and aggressive, and everything that he was saying didn't require that yet. And she would call him arrogant and this and that, but his words and description of him was not that. So it didn't always call for it. But then she was like head over heels, you know, eventually, but then also angry. And then, you know, he's like being patient. Like it was just too much. Like I would have been like, you know, F you then, like I'm out. So it wasn't a good balance. I feel like she was just doing the most and he was not deserving of it. And it kind of bothered me through the book. So I was getting really annoyed with her through the whole freaking book, but it was a good story. Like I didn't put it down. I wanted to see it through, but you know, whatever. That was that. I'm not going to read through the whole thing because I already read it. Anyway, next we have, that one does have an audiobook. And then we have Guilt Hollow. So if you're interested in it, I mean, it's quirky, okay? It was cute. It was quirky. I did read the whole thing. I did like the ending, but she pissed me off. She pissed me off through part of it. And I was just kind of getting annoyed. And I was like, you're doing too much. Anyway, so if you want to hear it on Libby, it's The Dating Dare by J.C. Lee. All right, the next one that I got for free is Guilt Hollow by Lori Langdon. This one has an audiobook. It says, Ashton. Time seemed to stop as they stared at one another. He was still Ashton, but transformed, as if a sculptor chiseled away the softness of his face to reveal the sharp angles beneath. Broad cheekbones, strong chin, square jaw, clenched tight, but his eyes were the same deep blue of a lake at midnight. He was Ashton, all right, but all grown up. Then something clicked behind his gaze and turned hot like a gas flame lighting. Willow sucked in a sharp breath as the planes of his face hardened into a mask of rage. And for the first time in 4 years, Willow believed Ashton Keller was capable of murder. This one retailed for 21 bucks. Did I say how much this one retailed for? It doesn't say. This one retailed for 21, and I got it for free. Next, we have David Baldacci, Split Second, a King and Maxwell thriller. It says, Michelle Maxwell just wrecked her promising career at the Secret Service. Can you see that? Against her instincts, she let presidential candidate out of her sight for the briefest of moments, and the man whose safety was her responsibility vanished into thin air. Sean King knows how the younger agent feels. 8 years earlier, the hard-charging Secret Service agent allowed his attention to be diverted for a split second, hence the title. The candidate he was protecting was gunned down before his eyes. Now Michelle and Sean are about to see the destinies converge. Drawn into a maze of lies, secrets, and deadly coincidences, the two discredited agents uncover a shocking truth that the separate acts of violence that shattered their lives were really a long time in the making, a long way from over. So yeah, pick that one up as well. And that one does have an audiobook, I believe. And then we got The Perfect Marriage, which also has an audiobook on Libby. This is by Geneva Rose. And it says, Sarah Morgan is a successful and powerful defense attorney in Washington, D.C. As a named partner at her firm, life is going exactly how she planned. The same cannot be said for her husband, Adam. He's a struggling writer who has had little success in his career, and he tires of his and Sarah's relationship as she's constantly working. Out in the scheduled woods at the couple's lake house, Adam engages in a passionate affair with Kelly Summers. Well, maybe if you would have worked a little more too, your writing would be more successful. Maybe, you know. But one morning, everything changes. Kelly is found brutally stabbed to death, and now Sarah must take on her hardest case yet, defending her own husband, a man accused of murdering his mistress. Well, there's an audiobook on that one if you're interested. Okay, so next, I actually picked up these books for my oldest son. He's trying to build his book collection as well. So he already reads self-help type books, but he wants to get into like actual like fiction and stuff. But I did find these for him, which I thought were pretty cool. In all four, or no, The Embodied Mind does not have an audiobook. It says Understanding the Mysteries of Cellular Memory, Consciousness, and Our Bodies, which I think is actually pretty cool. So I did pick that one up for him, and it was $27.95, Really nice looking book. And this is really cool stuff to know. All right, next one is Get Out of Your Head, Stopping the Spiral of Toxic Thoughts, which is a real freaking thing. I know because I went through it a long time ago and I literally had to rewire my brain to teach myself to stop doing the self-destructive things and saying toxic things to myself. I am really excited for him to read this because anything to keep your kiddos successful and out of their own way is something you want to be able to pass on to them. So this one was $23.99. And this one says, How we think shapes how we live. The greatest spiritual battle of our generation is taking place between our ears again and again. We allow false thoughts about who we are to influence our thoughts about God and about who God is and how he is at work in our lives. But we have the opportunity to stop spinning our minds and escape toxic thinking patterns. Get out of your own head. When you reclaim your thinking patterns from the lies of the enemy, you are set free and set others free in a very real way. This I thought was just really good information, and there is an audiobook on this one, so he can actually listen to it while he's working, and then he can read it while he's at home, because he also does like the concept of holding a book. All right, next we have The Power of One More, and then we have one more book after that. The Power of One More, The Ultimate Guide to Happiness and Success by E.D. Millett. And this one was regular retail $28, and it looks like this. And it says, The Power of One More is the result of more than 30 years of accumulated knowledge that Ed Millett has used to become a highly successful entrepreneur, performance coach, best-selling author, podcaster, and one of the world's most inspirational public speakers. The groundbreaking book is the first of its kind, revealing how you can combine thoughts and actions to unlock dynamic and impactful changes. The premise of The Power of One More is simple. You are closer to living your best life than you may think. In 19 turbocharged chapters, Ed lays out dozens of practical strategies that show how you are only one more thought and action away from transforming your life from average to extraordinary. You'll learn the power of developing one more habit, fighting through one more inconvenience, creating one more identity, building one more relationship, and many others. So I thought this was it sounded really good, especially for a young adult who is out in the world and experiencing challenges right out of college and doing all the stuff. You know, you can be really hard on yourself, and I feel like this is important. So I did pick that one up for him as well. And since these three have audiobooks, I am actually going to be listening to them as well. Because mostly I want to be able to have conversations with him about what the book is about, or when he's going through the different chapters or sections or whatever, we can actually discuss them. This one says, Think Like a Warrior, The 5 Inner Beliefs That Make You Unstoppable by Darren Donnelly. Looks like this. I don't see a retail price on this one. Discover the 5 inner beliefs shared by the world's greatest achievers. If you want to take control of your life, achieve your dreams, you must develop a warrior mindset, which I feel like is facts. This book will show you how to stop thinking like a victim and start thinking like a warrior. Facts. In this inspirational fable, Chris McNeely is a college football coach who is at the end of his rope after a hard and fast fall from the top of his profession. Now bankrupt on the verge of losing his job, he has no idea what he's doing wrong or how to get it back on track. Angry, worried, and desperate for help, Chris receives mysterious visits from 5 of history's greatest coaches, John, Buck, Herb, and Paul, and Vince. All of these people have last names, I'm just not reading them. Together, these 5 legendary leaders teach Chris how to think like a warrior and take control of his life. The warrior mindset he develops changes his life forever and will change yours as well. Okay, so that is it for this massive book haul. A lot of good stuff. Like I said, I paid $21 for all 30 books, making the average cost per book 70 cents, you guys. And going over some of the retail costs per book, I feel like I don't need to be on top of trends. I don't need to buy what is new and newly released right now. I'm not going to spend $25, $30 on a book. I'm just not going to do it. Maybe some people can. I'm just not about that life. I like to maximize my penny in any possible way, because whenever it comes down to doing things that I want to do, I don't want us to be broke. So I just shop the way that I do, and I hope it's helpful to you. I hope knowing what is on Libby actually helps you guys out. That way you don't have to go out and get the book. You can actually just be like, oh, I want to see what that book is, or I want to listen to that book because it sounds interesting. You can do that. Go on the Libby app. I have my library card with Broward County in Florida. I live in Texas, but it's like a thing you can do. You can get your library card through them because they have the biggest catalog of audiobooks. That being said, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below what you enjoyed about the video since it is my first one. What do you want to see in the next ones? Do you want me to review as I go? Do you want me to create a book review video like I'm doing for the Dollar Tree books? Do that with the other category books? Let me know. If you have friends that are trying to build a library on a budget or want to figure out what books sound good and maybe find some audiobooks through Libby or do whatever the thing, and they don't want to actually have the physical book and they just want a quick little readout like I gave here, then share this video with your bookish friends so they can check me out too. And if you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell on your way out to be notified of new videos whenever I post. I do a lot of content on here. I do thrifted hauls, I do Dollar Tree hauls, I do now book hauls, I do home organization, craft room stuff, yada yada. I'm a random person. I am all over the place most of the time, and I create content doing those things. So be sure to hit the notification bell on your way out so you can be notified of any of those videos whenever I post. You can follow me on my social media on Instagram at the Bates House, hashtag Bates House, pretty much anything, and I will be there. But for now, guys, that is it for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!